Pallet Town might seem like any other humble hamlet, but someday the whole world will know that this was where I began my quest to become the greatest Pokemon trainer ever. This is where it all begins. Pallet Town, home to me, my rival, and my mom, in the Pallet Town Pokemon Research Lab. The head of this research lab is none other than the world-renowned Professor Oak, who happens to be my rival's grandfather. But don't worry, he doesn't play favorites. In fact, he will give me my first choice of Pokemon when the time comes. This day may start out like any other, but this is a special day for me. This is the day that I get to embark on my own Pokemon adventure. I'll travel the world, see lots of interesting places, and meet lots of interesting people. But most of all, I will set out to become one of the greatest Pokemon trainers the world has ever known. After saying good morning to my mother, I step out of the door to find the one man who can start me on my journey, Professor Oak. I go downstairs. Just want to say what's up to my mom before I head out on my journey and to meet Professor Oak. I'm just gonna come say hello to my mom and tell her that I love her in case anything should happen to me, like maybe get murdered. Because this is Pokemon Director Red. And what that means is this is for adults. There's gonna be violence, there's gonna be bloodshed, but there's also going to be greatness and kindness of hearts and love. Anything can happen. It's going to be what you think it would be like to travel the world as a Pokemon trainer. Going out into the wilderness, that's a big thing. You know, you got to be able to take care of yourself. And it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. I want to say farewell before I head out. Speak to her as if it was my last time seeing her. What is she doing down here? /the intellectual. So I make my way down the steps and she's already on the steps and she's like, where do you think you're going? And I'm like, I'm going to go meet Professor Oak, Mom, because you know that today is a special day. Today is the day that I become a Pokemon trainer. I'm getting my first Pokemon. Come on, you know this. And she's like, oh, you think you're so smart? You think you're ready? You think you're ready to be a trainer? You think you're so smart, huh? You think you got it all figured out? But you didn't even pack your clothes. You didn't even pack the necessities. And I'm like, I want to travel light. You know, I don't want to be walking around with a giant knapsack on my back full of clothes. I'm just going to rock what I have. And if I need to clean up, if I need to wash, I'll just wash them in some water or something. I don't need multiple pairs of clothes. Does she buy that? Very, very, very unlikely. Yes, but she wants to at least let me know about an item that she had set on the table for me by my PC. And I believe she's referencing a potion. Is she referencing the potion? Very likely. Yeah, she says, there's a potion upstairs. At least take that with you. I say, oh, cool, thanks. Because, you know, potions, that's like, they run like $100, I think. So that's very nice of her to give me a nice little potion to start out with. I say, thank you, Mom. Is she making breakfast? Very likely. Yeah. Is it everything that I like? Very likely. Yes. Event. Gratify / illness. So it's a breakfast that boosts your immune system. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely be enjoying some of that. I'm gonna go grab that potion so I don't forget. So I run upstairs, I go to my PC, and I grab the potion that was stored by the PC. Now, potions, I believe, let me just read the back of this label here to make sure I understand. All right, so I go upstairs and I grab the potion. Is there anything else in my room that could potentially be of use on my journey? You know, my mother now has me thinking, maybe I'm rushing into this a little too fast. Is there anything that I'm potentially forgetting that could be of use that's in my room? I'm going to say somewhat likely. My mother knows best. I'm going to say likely. Yes. Okay. Well, what is it? Below average spy gadget. Binoculars. Okay. Yeah, that would come in handy. Should I, I'm hunting for Pokemon, right? I'm going to need some binoculars because I don't want to be too close to some things, and I want to see farther ahead. I don't want to, it could be a treacherous road ahead. I use some binoculars to scout the area. Use some binoculars to spy on a Pokemon. Should I want to catch one? Yeah, she's right. I grab those binoculars and I throw it in my backpack. Matter of fact, throw it around my neck. Around my neck. That's where it's going. Is my bed made? Did I remember to make my bed? Unlikely. I remembered to make my bed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to head back downstairs and get breakfast while it's nice and warm. All right. What's for breakfast? I'm going to take the first thing off of this random fantasy food generator roll. What did my mom make for breakfast? Grilled silver marmot. I love grilled silver marmot. Some grilled silver marmot. Yo, look. First off, silver marmot is... We don't have silver marmot often. That's all I'm going to say. So props to my mom for making me something so great for my trip goodbye. And it also kind of makes me feel like, man, she's really, for her to have made grilled silver marmot tells me that she's really put a lot of thought into this. This is probably a really big day for her as much as it is for me. It's dangerous out there, Trainers, at the tender age of, usually starting at the age of 16, 14 sometimes, depending on their life circumstances and their wealth. These children just go out into the wilderness and start their Pokemon journey. And, that's probably a big deal for a lot of parents. So this grilled silver marmot apparently is a nice hearty meal. It's going to boost my immune system and get me ready for what's ahead. And I'm going to enjoy and savor every bite of the grilled silver marmot. I'm going to sit down with my mother and I'm just going to chat with her before I head out. This is going to be, I'm not going to be able to see her often. I don't plan on coming back for a while unless I have to. Hopefully I don't. But I want to enjoy this moment. So I'm sitting here and I'm talking with my mother. We're eating grilled silver marmot. What are you going to do when what are you going to do when I leave? Is what I asked. What'd she say? Dessert / a project. She says she has a lot of house projects that she's been wanting to work on that she just has deserted. And, to keep her busy and her mind off of me leaving, she's going to revisit those projects. And, she's looking forward to that. And I think that's great. I tell her I'm going to stay in contact with her whenever I can. But yeah, what kind of projects? I say, hey mom, what are you going to work on? And she points at what she's going to work on. What is it? What kind of project is it? What is it? How would you describe this project? Neatly / lovely. Oh, so she's going to redo the wallpaper, the carpet, and she's just going to redecorate. Oh, okay. Nice. So I might come back and the place might look totally different. Okay. Well, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. Am I almost finished my meal? Somewhat likely. Yes, but event slash propose slash the intellectual. All right, so in this scenario, we're going to refer, previous to the last time intellectual was used, it's referring to me. So she's going to propose something. What exactly is she proposing? I'm going to go ahead and roll a plot point, actually. What is she proposing? Light urban setting. She tells me that, you know, out in my travels, she's actually thinking of relocating just to be closer to me, or not in such a small town. You know, I'm going and I'm traveling and I'm going to be seeing the world, this bigger world. And she's been in Pallet Town her whole life. Maybe not her whole life, but for a long time, since I was born at least. This town has 3 homes in it. She's probably like, you know, I want to go somewhere a little bit bigger, not too big like most cities out there, but you know, I don't travel the world much. Son, maybe if you run into any towns that are a little bit bigger than this, maybe like an urban setting, you know, tell me how you feel about it, because I might reconsider, you know, moving out there. I'm going to decorate this house, get it ready. You know, if it, depending on how well it is, I might, you know, I might sell it. But yeah, you know, when you're out there, let me know if there's any towns that, you know, that you think would be a nice place for us to live. I say, sure. Yeah. Sure. Now I'm playing from the perspective of a kid who's never been in this world. I've only been in Pallet Town, and all my life I wanted to be a Pokemon trainer. So I don't know what towns or buildings or cities or settings are out there, just like she doesn't. So I'm gonna write that in my little journal. You know, scout out some future homes, and she prefers it to be a light urban setting, not too dense. No, light. Okay. I say, sure. I'll send you some. I'll be sure to take pictures. Do I have a camera? Very likely. Yes, and event punish / illusions. I have a camera, but it's not in the best condition. It's gone. It's been damaged. It's been punished. It's gone through some punishment, and so the pictures don't come out too great. But it'll make do. It'll make do. I grab the camera off of the table and store that away as well. So I'm finishing up my meal. Does she have anything else to bring up? Very likely. Yeah, and what exactly does she bring up? Delay / fears. She starts talking, right? She starts just going on and on and on, as mothers can do. And I start to realize, like, my food is finished by now, right? About 30 minutes has gone by. I've finished. And just out of respect, you know, I'm listening to her. Don't want to cut her off. But I'm starting to realize that she's starting to intentionally delay my departure with conversation. And I realize it. And I can tell that it's from a place of fear. And out of respect, I'm going to stay another 20 minutes and I'm going to listen to her. And does she give me as 20 minutes go by, does she kind of let off, or does she keep going? Does she keep going? Unlikely. No. And she runs out of just shit to talk about. And she's like, I look into her eyes. She looks like she's just scavenging her brain for something to talk about. And I say, I get up and I hug her. And I say, Mom, it's okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. What'd she say? Failure / wounds. She just expresses that she worries. She hears about all the kids and people that go out and get hurt out there and die and murdered. Because this is I'm going for a realistic, darker setting. And this, you know, the Pokemon are not going to be as cute. And it's going to be a little bit more serious. So when she's not overreacting is the point I'm trying to make. I tell her that I'm going to be fine and I'll return home. Pokemon centers are in every city. I just try to make her feel better. Does it work? Likely. Yeah. Does she calm down? Likely. No, but she's better than she was minutes ago. She's not going to calm down because she's a mom, right? So I hug my mom goodbye, and I tell her that I'm marching off to the professor's lab. I head to the professor's lab, and I'm expecting to see scientists. I'm expecting to see Professor Oak. And of course, I'm expecting to see my rival Gary, Professor's nephew, who I know is also starting his journey today. Now, I've asked Gary to, I floated the idea of us traveling together as a group, but we've been rivals since we were kids. And he doesn't really like me. I don't really like him. Not enough to not travel with him. We're talking about survival here, but he doesn't want to travel with me, and it's fine. He's an asshole. But I'm expecting to see him here. I'm also expecting him to be complaining about something. Is that what happens? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to generate the scene to see if that is exactly what I'm walking into. Is that what I'm walking into? Altered scene. So it's that, but something is just off. Something is just a little bit different. And let's figure out what exactly that is. What's different? Happily/lovely. So I walk in and I do see scientists. In fact, the scientists are lined up, cheering and congratulating me. They likely did the same for Gary, but everyone in the town, this is a small town, right? So it's really big that we are Pokemon trainers leaving from this town. Not many Pokemon trainers, if any, are from Pallet Town. And it's almost as if being drafted into a sports league, there's some pride in the town that you come from, and they're excited for us. They're lined up, they're cheering, they're congratulating, and they're like, and I see Professor Oak standing at the end of the lab with Gary. And I humbly accept their cheers and their cheers. Thank you is what I say. One of the scientists shout out something. What does the scientist shout out? Debase/death. He says, "You're gonna kill it out there. You're not gonna." This sounds crazy. You're not gonna die, but they're more like, you're gonna be fine. Like there's a lot of death is a big topic because it's dangerous, but they're like, you're gonna be fine. You're death. Pff, you're gonna kill it out there, man. I hope so. That's gonna depend on my Pokemon skills, right? So I make my way up to Professor Oak, and I greet Professor Oak with the utmost respect. I have a lot of respect for this man. I look at Gary and I give him a nod. What does he do? Create/bureaucracy. I'm interpreting this as he says a comment along the lines of, if it was up to me, you wouldn't be getting a Pokemon. Like, what have you done to deserve a Pokemon? If it were up to me, we would vote. If it were up to me, you wouldn't be getting a Pokemon. Only I would be getting a Pokemon. I'm pretty sure everybody here would agree that if any of us were going to get a Pokemon, it should be me. All three of these Pokemon, and he points at the table, should be mine. But no, Professor Oak wanted, my uncle felt it was a good idea for you to get one as well. But if it were up to me, it wouldn't be. You wouldn't get one. Pika. He calls me a bitch. I say, you sound confident. You talk a lot for someone who has no experience with Pokemon. What makes you think you would be a better Pokemon trainer than I? What's he say? Cruelty/art. He says something very cruel, and he says it in such a way you can tell he's a natural at just being cruel. It's like an art to him. It's a very, very sharp comeback that really hits home. What does he say? What is a description of what he says? Beautifully / heavy. He says something that hits home. It's heavy, and it's put together so eloquently, but it's just vile. Something probably has something to do with me not having a father. and about leaving my mother home by herself. Something dark like that has really nothing to do with this. Pulls on some like personal stuff. I'm not gonna let him ruin my day though. I'm gonna take that out of respect for what has been prepared for us, out of respect for the professor, and to savor this moment and not ruin this moment by going back and forth with this asshole. I'm going to let that slide. And I'm going to look to get Professor Oak. And I'm just going to let him know how much of an honor it is. Professor Oak offers me the choice of 3 Pokemon from which I will select my very first. Choose carefully. Not only will the Pokemon you pick be your strongest for the next few hours, it will determine which Pokemon your rival picks as well. So, there's 3 Pokeball capsules on the table. My first starter Pokemon is going to be completely random. I also want to add that the moves that our Pokemon learn, they will learn them as they grow, and the way they grow and develop. Using the Mythic RPG rules, it will be very dynamic. It will be very almost a simulation of what it would be like to grow and develop a Pokemon. And it's gonna feel right. We're gonna play. We're gonna handle it as we go. But it's gonna be very similar to the character development and any Mythic, using any Mythic role-playing rules. It's very. There's not a lot of mechanics to it, and it feels very natural. But that's how these Pokemon will level up. That's how these Pokemon will evolve and grow. With that said, I am vowing to Professor Oak that I will treat this Pokemon and Pokemon that I encounter and Pokemon that I capture, I will treat them like partners. I will treat them like family. And what that means is permadeath is on. If a Pokemon is killed in battle, and a Pokemon can be killed in battle, it's a risky thing, Battle is risky and you can die, depending on. But it's going to be up to the trainer to identify when to withdraw their Pokemon. Only the trainer will know when their Pokemon truly needs to be returned. And I'm going to try to uphold that unless any character changes that happen. Anything that happens to me, if it changes my personality or alignment or my outlook. But I'm going into this like a very bright, I don't want to say naive, but a very optimistic trainer who has this vision of what it is like to be a Pokemon trainer. And it is my goal to treat Pokemon the way I grew up as a kid, wanting to treat them. I am not going to re-roll. I am not going to re-roll this unless there's an issue. There should be no issues. But this Pokemon, I'm going to accept it. I'm going to grow to love it. And I'm going to be experiencing what it's like to have a Pokemon under a different light, in a different way. Outside of the ways I've always experienced Pokemon through the handheld games. This is going to be, using Mythic rules, Peoplz and Dragon style, baby. Using RPGsolo.com and all the great tools that I have at my disposal, I'm going to be simulating an experience of what it's like to be a Pokemon trainer and have ownership and partnership with something that is a living, breathing thing that is a way of life in this setting. That's strange. It's going to be strange to actually adopt that perspective, and that's going to be the journey. So this Pokemon is like a child to me, a dog. So let's see what we get. Three, two, one. A Vulpix. I like that. That's all I gotta say. I am more than happy with this. I've never used a Vulpix ever when I played the games when I was younger. Recently, I've never used a Vulpix before. I always thought Vulpix was a cool Pokemon. It's just, it felt like you got them so late in the game, you know? Yo, a Vulpix. One thing that an approach that I want to take with these Pokemon is, in the game, your Pokemon, their stats are all in front of you. They're all in front of you. All the way down to their passive abilities, all the way down to their natures and the benefits of those natures. I want to simulate this relationship with this Pokemon. So I'm not going to have access to that information. What my Pokemon is capable of in their nature, I'm going to have to discover through interaction with that Pokemon. I'm going to have to discover what their strengths and weaknesses are through training with that Pokemon and seeing that Pokemon in action. You can't just look at an athlete and know what their strengths and weaknesses are until you watch them in action. So, with that said, in regards to its nature, I'll have to learn that through interaction with it. In regards to whether it's faster than it is stronger, I can go off of what my knowledge of what a Vulpix can do. I can go off of that, but that'll only carry me as far. If I notice that my Pokemon tends to succeed in areas more than others, then I will assume that is because that Pokemon's, that's that Pokemon's ability. And vice versa. So if my Pokemon can't seem to ever catch up with something, it's a slow Vulpix, as slow as a Vulpix can be. Vulpix is a small quadrupedal fox-like Pokemon. It has a red-brown pelt with a cream-colored underbelly. It has brown eyes, large pointed ears with dark brown insides, and a triangular brown nose. Its paws are slightly darker than the rest of its pelt and have light brown paw pads. On top of its head are 3 curled locks of orange fur with bangs, and it has orange tails with curled tips. It is most commonly seen with 6 tails. However, Vulpix is born with only a single white tail that splits as Vulpix grows. I did not know that. The tails grow hot as it approaches evolution. It's born with 1 tail? How old is mine? I want to see how many tails my Pokemon has. I'm going to roll a D3 because I'm going to say this is a young Vulpix. Alright, my Vulpix has 3 tails. Vulpix is capable of manipulating fire to such precision as to create floating wisps of flame. Now, when you read Pokédex entries for Pokemon, you always read these things that you've never seen them really do, and it was flavor text up until now. My Vulpix can manipulate fire, and the way I'm going to treat their abilities is, yes, they will get an ability that they have from the Pokemon games, but we are going to expand on those abilities, and that's when training comes into play. So as soon as my Pokemon can manipulate embers, I'm going to try to train my Vulpix to do different things with Ember other than Spit It. Not necessarily Fire Spin, because I know that, that's an actual move. But until we get Fire Spin, I'm going to try to expand the move set, not getting too overpowered and not outside of its lane, but more so variations of the ability to use them in different ways. So for all my Smash Brothers fans out there, remember Smash Brothers Melee? I think it was Melee or Brawl. I think it was Brawl, when each fighter had moves, but they had alternate moves that kind of still stayed in the parameters of that of that fighter. That's how we're going to treat these abilities. So when I hear that my Vulpix is capable of manipulating fire to such precision as to create floating wisps of flames, we're definitely going to be expanding on that. And that's what's going to be the core of this experience, is just actually training Pokemon and trying to use them to their best potential. These wisps are sometimes mistaken for ghosts by humans, but Vulpix uses them to assist in catching prey. See, I'm gonna have to also think about letting my Pokemon eat. Inside its body is a flame that never goes out. I hope we never see that flame, right? When the temperature outside increases, it will expel flames from its mouth to prevent its body from overheating. Vulpix is known to feign injury to escape from opponents too powerful for it to defeat. Vulpix can be found most commonly in grassy plains. That's dangerous. I kneel down and I admire the Vulpix face to face. How does it react to me? Does it react positively? Somewhat likely. No, and is it more of a fearful look, like a surprised look? I'm going to say very likely. Yeah, it looks frightened, but this is an opportunity for me to introduce myself and start some sort of gain some trust here. So, I'm pretty much going to try to calm it and look as non-threatening as possible, and I'm gonna call out to it. I'm gonna call out to it. I'm gonna, with a soothing voice, and put my hand out to it and try to get closer. Am I successful in trying to calm this very young 3-tailed Vulpix? Likely. Yes. Is it starting to warm up to me? Likely. Yes. I start to pet it. I read and I heard what this Pokemon what it looks like, but just for some extra elaboration, now that I have it here really close to me in my hands, what are some ways that we describe this Vulpix compared to what I was expecting and what I've seen in the Pokédex? What is something about my Vulpix that is what I couldn't even have imagined, or what I haven't seen in pictures of Vulpixes? Is there anything different that separates my Vulpix, and what is that? Kindly / pale. So my Vulpix's fur is a little bit more it's a lighter brown. It's a little bit more on a paler side than what we typically see. Yeah. Is there anything really unique about this Vulpix? Unlikely. We got to keep it real. In all my games that I play here, we keep it real. We keep it honest. This is honest man game right here. You got to be honest with the odds when you're solo role playing. You got to be honest, or it destroys the integrity of your game. The moment you feel like you have too much control because you're lying about the odds is the moment that it's not going to be fun anymore. It's it's unlikely. I'm not going to say very unlikely, because there could be some kind of quirk, even a negative quirk with my Pokemon, but it's very unlikely that there is anything unique about my Vulpix visually compared, or mentally, physically, whatever. Is there anything that separates this Vulpix from other Vulpixes? Unlikely. No. So it's warming up to me. Does Professor Oak have anything to say about this Vulpix? Very likely. He has to tell me something, right? Yeah. What is it about this Vulpix that he can tell me? Energetically / natural. He tells me that it has a natural energy about it. Yeah. It has it's energetic. It's from what he sees. What else does he say? Oppress / weapons. A well-trained Vulpix can become a very powerful opponent. Its weapon is its flame, and he could really become hard to hold down or stop if it learns to manifest those, its flame well. It's a hard Pokemon to oppress because of its weapon, its power. I bet Gary looks like he's hating. I look at Gary. Does he look? Is he hating? Does it look like Gary's hating? Somewhat likely. Yeah. I just grabbed the Pokeball. I didn't even look at each of them on purpose because I know he's going to try to grab the one that's, it would be really messed up if he grabs a Pokeball, sees that it's not a water Pokemon, and tries to get another one. It would be even better if that next one wasn't water. Or ground. We'll see. But he does look like he's hating. Does he say anything? 50-50. No. But he rushes to grab one of the other Pokeballs. So Gary grabs one of the other Pokeballs. Let's see what Gary gets. Mother... Krabby. It's a water Pokemon. Just probably what he wanted. Does he look excited that it's a Krabby? Somewhat likely. Yeah. Does he keep it? Somewhat likely. Actually likely. Very likely. Yeah. That's cool. Krabby. It's not as cool as my Vulpix, but with my first Pokemon in hand and eagerness to start my journey and head for the exit, my rival Gary decides that he wants to test his mettle against me and challenges me to a battle that I cannot refuse. So I get ready to leave when Gary stops me. What exactly does he say? Open / dispute. He opens up the topic again as to what drives us to be the best trainers. And remember, I rolled that it was a religious aspect. He brings up the religious aspect again. And remember, he believes that to harness the power of the Pokemon, the legendary Pokemon, the god Pokemon, Arceus or whoever would have you. That's how he feels he should become the best, is by harnessing the power. And I more so believe that if I ever got the opportunity to, I would not be capturing a legendary Pokemon. Because I feel they play a much larger role than anything they could play inside of my Pokeball. But he more so he leans more towards in this conversation that we're having here, this dispute, is that no matter what our different beliefs are, he is superior, and he's going to prove it to me starting now. And I'm like, bring it on. I look at him and I say, you sure you're ready to take a L? Sure you don't want to go train a little bit? And I say that with confidence. What's he say? Celebrate / victory. He says, well, we'll see how confident you are after I win. We'll see how confident you are when I'm the victor. I say, you know what? We'll do this, but we got to take it outside. We're not going to do it in here, not in this lab, because there's all kind of stuff, lab equipment. Out of respect for Professor Oak. Does Professor Oak? Does he look like he's likes that idea of us doing this outside? Very likely. Yes, and event increase/allies. He says yes, he really likes that idea. In fact, he's actually quite proud that I would suggest such a thing, to the point where looks like he and others are maybe cheering for me. I don't know. Maybe I have a little bit more allies than I did a minute ago before I said that. Maybe they, maybe it's not me per se. Maybe they like Vulpix. Maybe they're biased towards Vulpix. But it seems as though a lot of these folks are maybe hoping that I win. And I don't know if it's because Gary is an asshole, but I don't know. Who knows? All I know is people want to see they want to see Director Peoplz body Gary real quick. Me and my Vulpix. I say let's go outside. Let's go outside. So we're outside. Is my mother out here watching this battle? 50-50. No, but everyone in town is watching the battle, right? Very likely. Yes, but not everybody. But people out from the town are watching this battle, including the lab assistants and Professor Oak. I know that Krabby is a water Pokemon. It starts off with Water Gun. Unlike the other starter Pokemon that don't start off with a move that's their type, this can get kind of itchy. So I'm going to have to make sure Vulpix can evade the Water Gun. I lean down to my Vulpix and I explain to my Vulpix that we are getting ready to embark on the greatest journey together. We are going to have ups and we're going to have downs. But we are going to be partners in this. And I'm never going to make a decision that is not in your best interest. You can always trust me. In this first battle, this competition, I want you to look at all these fights going forward as steps to greatness. Every enemy, every opponent is someone who thinks they're better than you, but they're not. And you're going to have to show that to them. You don't need to show it to me because I already know it. We're destined for greatness. You have to show them. And everyone you show is another step toward your full potential, the best version of you, evolved or not. You can do this. Today we show them. I want to give my Vulpix a morale boost with a uplifting speech. I want to say things that will uplift it. And that's what I say. Now, without really knowing the nature of my Vulpix, I'm hoping that I got through to it. Did I get through to my Vulpix with that inspiring speech? Likely. Yes. Event. Judge/fame. Is there another character here that is famous that's watching? Very likely. Yes. And event. Return/liberty. Yes, and it's someone who who is here at the liberty of Professor Oak, courtesy of Professor Oak. He probably invited them here to commemorate us being the first Pokemon trainers from Pallet. They're from another place and they will return. This is a gym leader, isn't it? This is a gym leader. Very likely. Yes. I'm going to roll a D8. There's 8 gyms. There's 8 gyms. I'm going to roll a D8 to see which gym leader it is that has this, connection with Professor Oak that's here to watch this little scrimmage. 3. It's going to be the 3rd gym, which is, oh man, so it's Lieutenant Surge. Lieutenant Surge is in Pallet watching this. That's nice of him to come out here. Good for him. Lieutenant Surge. It's Lieutenant Surge, talking with Professor Oak. Likely. Yeah, and they're watching this battle. Looks like Professor Oak is probably bigging us both up. Because remember, Gary's a beast too. Oak sees potential in Gary. So I'm not, I ain't saying Gary's not the underdog. I'm just saying that. I'm really the underdog with this typing scenario that we got here. One of Lieutenant Surge's flunkies or soldiers in military fatigue gear. What does he look like? And a really big brolic dude too. But he pretty much says, "Go!" Alright, so I am not losing to this dude. I'm going to tell my Vulpix to begin running full speed around Krabby. I want him to spew fire along the grass to create a wall of smoke. His Krabby is probably going to try and attack. Is this Krabby going to try and go for an attack? Very likely. Yeah. So my Vulpix is going to be trying to attempt to evade that attack while it's running and shooting fire. The fate question is going to be, is my Vulpix able to evade Krabby's attack while on the move and shooting the ground with fire to create a wall of smoke? Is my Vulpix able to evade the attack? And this attack is probably what? Water gun? Likely. Yeah. We're going to say my Vulpix's speed is not slow. So I'm going to say, is he, from this distance too, is he able to evade the water gun? Very likely. Very likely. Yes. Does the firewall the fire coming up from the grass on fire, does the smoke that I'm creating, does it create a pretty decent wall of smoke like I was intending it to? Very likely. Yes. I'm going to have Vulpix run around, run circles around Krabby, but once it finds an opening in the wall of smoke, because it shouldn't be surrounding Krabby, it's just in the front of Krabby, surrounded in the wall of smoke, I want him to run around until he can see Krabby, and I want him to shoot an ember of flame at Krabby from a distance, from behind, once he can see it, but hopefully from behind. I'm hoping that his Krabby doesn't know mine is coming from behind. He's probably going to back up since he can no longer see my Vulpix. Can his Krabby see my Vulpix? Unlikely. Yes. Is he going to back up and defensively begin shooting the water gun? Very likely. Yes. So as he's back up and defensively shooting the water gun, my Vulpix is running around. And once he gets that line of sight, my Vulpix is going to shoot the fireball. However, does his Krabby spot my Vulpix and hit it with the water gun before my Vulpix is able to get around the opening? I'm going to say unlikely. Yes. Okay, so he shoots his water gun. I'm going to have my my Vulpix of, because there's distance between us, right? But his Vulpix his Krabby, my Vulpix probably didn't see that water gun coming through the smoke. I wasn't expecting that. So, does that water gun catch me off guard? Catch my Vulpix off guard? Somewhat likely. I wasn't expecting it either. Somewhat likely. Exceptional, yes. So much so, because remember, my Vulpix is running. It's still in motion. Does the water gun projectile hit my Vulpix? I'm going to say unlikely. No. So by now, my Vulpix is coming around the corner. Has it reached the opening yet before the Krabby could shoot another water gun? Likely. No. The Krabby shoots another water gun. That Krabby is like, right? This is the second water gun coming. Does it hit my Vulpix? Wait, first off, is this one as guided as the first one? Like the second shot was made with his Krabby seeing my Vulpix. Does he still see my Vulpix on the second shot? I mean, my Vulpix is moving. Come on. Probably, I'm going to say unlikely. Yes. Does his water gun hit my Vulpix? Unlikely. Too much distance. Unlikely. Yes. Barely, though. It grazes. It hits me, but it almost grazed my Vulpix. Damn. So, using Mythic rules, I'm going to go away from the chance questions now, and I'm going to start asking some challenge questions since there was some contact. So that means that the damage of that water gun, I'm going to say is going to be, water gun is a weak ability, but super effective. So I'm going to say below average damage +2 rank shift versus my Vulpix's toughness. Probably not too tough, actually. I'm gonna say below average. Below average +2 versus below average. Does the water do damage? Does it when it hits? But in Mythic, something can hit, but you can shrug it off. Like you can be hit by it, like, oh, I got hit by it. But in real life, you can get hit with a punch and take a hit, and it can hit you and be fine. There's going to be plenty of hits in this, but does it do damage? And by damage, I don't mean like, yes, a punch in the face hurts, but damage is something that's going to put you out of the fight. Damage, when you're damaged, you can't fight anymore. You are lethally hurt. You are incapacitated. So when I ask the question damage, I really mean damage, like to the point where it's significantly hindering me from going on in this fight at a full capacity because I got hit, so when I ask the question, it's one thing to ask for the hit to land, but for it to actually to have significance to the battle, that's what this question is more so about. So that below average +2 water projectile, it hits my Vulpix. Did it have an impact? Below average +2 versus below average. Did it have an impact? So it hits my Vulpix. Does it take my Vulpix off of its feet? Likely. No. My Vulpix takes that shit. Is my Vulpix able to keep running? Because remember, it almost grazed it. So maybe that's why. Is my Vulpix able to keep running? I'm gonna say likely since it pretty much ate that. Likely. No. So my Vulpix is still on his feet, but he did stop, which is bad. I didn't want him to stop, but that's his first time getting hit with a water gun. I'm like, oh. He ate it though. He didn't get lifted off of his feet, but we're good. We're good. It was a little bit, just a little bit. But I need my Vulpix to keep running. I tell my Vulpix to keep running. Stay on your toes. Does my Vulpix listen? Very likely. Definitely listens. Continue with the plan. Continue shooting fire. I'm gonna tell it to spray some more fire. I want it to zigzag, and I want it to shoot fire into the smoke blindly. If he can land a hit, if he can see it, obviously I want him to shoot the Krabby, but I want him to shoot projectiles beyond this wall of smoke and attempts. Because if Krabby can see him, he can see Krabby. So I want him to shoot through, shoot fireballs through the smoke. So that's going to be a little bit of speed, and that's definitely going to be a precision attack. So first off, let me ask the question: is my Vulpix able to stay on his toes to avoid being hit by zigzagging while on the other side of the smoke and flames? Very I'm gonna say somewhat likely, since the Krabbies apparently can see real good. Somewhat likely. Is he able to stay on his toes and evade water gun hits? Yes. Does his Krabby continue to shoot water guns at a distance from behind the fire? Because he's not going to try to chase me. So I'm going to say likely. Exceptional, yes, definitely. It's probably the best strategy Gary could do, just to snipe my Vulpix. He already hit him on the second shot. Because if his Krabby tries to chase me, he's not going to catch me. And my Vulpix is going to try to keep this distance and put the firewall in between. So he's still shooting, but my Vulpix is still evading. Is my Vulpix, while evading, able to line up any sight? Is he able to see the Krabby on the other side? I'm going to say somewhat likely. I'm going to say likely because the Krabby saw me. I mean, I think they're both the same height. Likely. Yes. Once he gets a shot, I want my Vulpix to shoot a nice ball of flame at that Krabby. Does he successfully land his ball? Does he use Ember? Does he successfully use Ember? 50-50. Yes. I hit him with that flame. Now, that flame, it's resistant to water, but it's better than nothing. That was a snipe shot. So with that said, there's that flame. We're going to say that flame is probably doing below average damage. It's getting a -2 because he's water. Versus, I think Krabby might be a little bit more tougher because it has a shell. So we're going to say average. So below average -2 versus average defense. Does my Ember does it hurt Krabby? No. I'm going to tell my Eevee to continue doing what it's doing. Does the Krabby continue doing what it's doing, and both of our Pokemon are having a firefight between a wall of fire? Very likely. No. His Krabby changes his strategy. Huh. What does he do? I'm going to actually roll a plot point to see what changes in this battle. Religion. Tying back to Gary manifesting the full power of his Pokemon, not treating them like loved ones and creatures that need to be loved, and treating them like tools instead, treating them like weapons. Because that's what he said he's going to do whenever he encounters the god Pokemon. He's going to capture them and use them. He doesn't care or doesn't look at Pokemon the same way we do or feel the same way. I'm going to interpret that as he tells that Krabby to walk right through that fire in order to see me so he can get a better shot. Does a fire hurt him? Very unlikely. Exceptional, no. He walks through the fire and begins shooting at my Vulpix. As he walks through the fire, is my Vulpix able to get a hit off as he walks through the fire? Somewhat likely. He's walking through the fire. He's not trying to evade. Likely. Yes. Below average -2 versus the Krabby's average toughness. Does it hurt? No, he eats it just like he thought. just like I thought, and he begins firing off a water gun attack. Does he shoot a water gun attack? Very likely. Yeah. Does it hit me? Does it hit my zigzagging Vulpix? 50-50. Yes. Below average +2 versus average. Does it hurt my Vulpix? Yes. So that water projectile crashes into my Vulpix. Does this one send my Vulpix off of its feet? Somewhat likely. Yes. I try to encourage my Vulpix to get up. Is my Vulpix able to get back up to its feet? Likely. Exceptional, yes. He tumbles, he rolls, and gets right back up to his feet and continues running, sticking to the plan. Is his Krabby continuing to shoot water projectiles? And if not, if this is a no, that means he's closing in on me for an attack. Does his Krabby continue to shoot projectiles? Very likely. Yes. Is it able to get another one off before my Vulpix can attack? Likely, since I got hit. Somewhat likely, because my Vulpix freaked that hit. He rolled and everything. Somewhat likely. Yes, he's able to get another shot. Does he hit? 50-50. Yes. Does it hurt my Vulpix? Below average +2 versus average -1 because I have a wound. Does it hurt? Does this knock my Vulpix off of its feet? Somewhat likely. Yeah. I tell my Vulpix to get up. You got this. I have a plan. You just gotta get up, Vulpix. Is Vulpix able to get up? First off, is my Vulpix a he or a she? Vulpix is 75 female, 75% female. Is my Vulpix a she? Very likely. Yeah. I tell my Vulpix to get up. Is she able to get up? She's naturally energetic, right? Somewhat likely. Yes. All right, I got a plan. All right, we have 2 wounds. That third wound is gonna finish us. On the third hit, if you take 3 rank shift of an accumulative of 3 rank shift penalties, you have to ask the question: do you succumb to your wounds? And this means either being knocked out, incapacitated, and depending on the type of attack, it could even mean being killed, especially if it's an exceptional yes to the question. So I have a plan, because I tell my Vulpix to get as close as it can, and like Sharingan, make eye contact and use disable. But this is going to require my Vulpix to get as close as it can. I have a plan, but this is going to require my Vulpix to get as close as it can. I need my Vulpix to trust me. I need my Vulpix. Matter of fact, I say, Vulpix, I need you to remember what I told you. We have this. I'm going to try to inspire my Vulpix. Was I able to inspire my Vulpix a little bit? Somewhat likely. Yes, I say, Vulpix, I have a plan, but you can do this. I need you to stay on your toes and evade. Get closer and make eye contact. Get closer till you're within eye contact range. Can you do that for me, Vulpix? What does Vulpix do when I say that? Can you do that for me, Vulpix? What is? Let's do happily / rough. She looks a little roughed up, a little banged up, but she's like, I got this. I can do this. Whatever noises Vulpix is making, I got this. I say, I need you to really be on your toes, like go ham. Like I really need you to close in and evade. Okay? Can you do that? So she starts running. Is my Vulpix able to evade any more water gun attacks? She's running, and I want her to run straight toward Krabby too. She able to, with all of her speed, and evade. She able to evade. I'm gonna say likely. She able to evade those water guns attack, running straight ahead. Inspired by me. And all she has to do is get in mid-range, eye contact range. Is she able to do that? Does she get hit by a water gun? Very likely. So she tries to evade, and that first water, yo, first off, this Krabby is nice, yo. This Krabby is like Steph Curry from the 3. My Vulpix is running, and then all of a sudden, bah! Oh no. Does it hurt my Vulpix? Yes. Now I have to ask the question, does she succumb to the wounds? Below average +2 minus versus average -3. So this is average toughness -3 rank shifts for each of those wounds. Does she faint? Now if this is an exceptional yes, that means she's dead. Does she faint? Yo, right now I really am beating myself up for my strategic approach to that. Maybe I shouldn't have, you know. I had a plan. I wasn't going to fire embers the whole time, but I should have did something different. This is what probably goes through a trainer's mind after they watch their Pokemon get bodied right in front of them. But there's no time for that. I need to get out of my head and I need to go rush to my Pokemon. So I run toward my Vulpix. To embrace my Vulpix. Are her eyes open at least? Is she able to even see me holding her? Unlikely. Yeah, she's still hanging on, but she's out. I tell her, you did a good job. We have a lot of work to do, but don't worry. We're going to get better. I try to encourage her. Don't worry. You did good. And then I call her back into the Pokeball. And then I look up at everyone around me who just watched that terrible loss. And Gary probably is really taking this all in. Does Gary say something that crushes my soul because it's the perfect time to do that? Very likely. Yes. Event. Attach/misfortune. To really attach on to this loss. He probably says some really bad things to her. To try to cripple my my motivation. In fact, does he bring up the bad things he says about my family that he brought up in the lab? 50-50. No. But he just attaches so much to this loss, and everything that he had talked about prior about what he believes. He tells me that he tries to say something along the lines of, I just demonstrated why my outlook is better than yours. He doesn't say that word for word, but he pretty much rubs that in. That's what he attaches to this win. And I tell him, I say, good fight. What does Professor Oak look like right now? Kukuli/macabre. He looks stunned. He looks like, oh no. This is terrible. That was a terrible defeat. kind of feels bad for how dark and macabre this scenario is, because I look like anyone would probably want to end their career right now, their Pokemon career, and just hang up their because that was a terrible defeat. What does Lieutenant Surge look like? Is Lieutenant Surge even still there? Likely. No, but his other guy is. What does he look like? Mechanically / watery. He's sweating because it's hot outside and he's a big guy. And he's fumbling around with some sort of device like a fan that Professor Oak gave him to kind of keep him cool. We're going to end the scene there. And we're going to start a new scene with me at night. I decided not to leave town that day, and instead nurse my Pokemon to health, and we'll leave tomorrow morning. Gary left. He probably started his adventure today, as he should. But there's no Pokemon centers here, and so I'm just going to nurse my Pokemon to health. And I'm going to stay one more night and call it a night and kind of rest and think about my approach to this training thing. I'm not letting what Gary said get to me. I'm just hoping that this didn't have an impact on my Vulpix. My Vulpix was very courageous, and she trusted me. So I'm going to make sure that I can express my thanks and gratitude and impress it. I was impressed. My mother comes up. She comes into my room. She knocks. And she tells me that she heard what happened. And she wants to share some advice, because she noticed that I've been calling my Pokemon a Vulpix. She tells me that if you want to become the greatest, you need to treat your Pokemon with respect and love. And that's just probably why I believe what I believe, because of her. But she also goes on to say, name your Pokemon. Just like I named you. I don't call you boy. I don't call you the sun. You have a name. And with that name carries great power and symbolism. Name your Pokemon, she says. And name every Pokemon you catch. They mean everything to you. They deserve a name. And then she leaves my room and turns the lights off. I turn and I look at my Pokeball sitting on my dresser. My Vulpix laying at the foot of my bed. Bumbled up. And then I turn to the moon. And I use that loss today as a stepping stone to being greater the next day. Tomorrow is a new day. And I will be the very best that no one ever was. Hey, thanks for watching Peoplz and Dragons Pokemon Roleplay Red. What should I name my Vulpix? Someone. Only if you enjoyed what you were watching, and only if you liked and subscribed and plan on watching more and joining me on this Pokemon adventure. Only then would I really value your opinion on what I should name my Vulpix. My mother told me I should invest in the things that I love and name them, and I'm going to name my Vulpix. I'm going to sleep on it. So someone in the comment section, go ahead and share what you think my Vulpix. Remember, my Vulpix has 3 tails. It's somewhat paler than than the typical Vulpix. And she got bodied. But as you see, she's very naturally energetic. She was on board. She trusts me. There's a lot of potential here. But those little characteristics that I've seen so far, her being naturally energetic and really trusting me from the jump, with 3 tails, I feel like we can come up with a cool name. So no matter what, comment in the comment section what I should name my first Pokemon, my Vulpix, and the one with the most likes. And if there's just one, I'll choose that one. If there's a tie, I'll choose one that I like the most. But feel free to like other people's submissions, if any. But tell me what I should name my Vulpix. And I want you to pray for my Vulpix in hopes that she can recover so we can leave tomorrow, because we have a lot of training to do. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching.